Hello, I'm Domina Della Pie, Mistress Sasha Storm. Welcome to my channel. Please like. Well, how about listen, then like, subscribe, and share. Today's subject is forgiveness. Forgiveness, forgiveness. Yes, that is very powerful in various ways. So I want to stress on this today, the importance, the value of forgiving others. And I'm a great candidate for that because I'm the sort of person who I tend to rub people the wrong way, not intentionally, but just by being myself. So I'm a little uncouth at times, perhaps, or maybe not, maybe you are, but in our interactions, things happen that cause me to display anger, which I don't want. It's the last thing I want to do. I finally figured out. I've always known. That's the thing. Most things I've already known, but I think there's several different personalities operating within me, and different ones have different memos. So, I have a history of being seen as hothead paisan, hothead Aries, hothead black woman, angry black woman. I fit the narrative apparently, but it's not true. It's not true. That's just a part of me because I'm not this way 24/7. I'm not this way every day. I'm not this way every minute, every hour. There are times it'll pop off. Like today. Today is Saturday and it popped off earlier this morning. But it didn't pop off yesterday or the day before, the day before, the day before. You know what I mean? The last time it popped off was the Sunday previous. It's like a whole week since I've popped off. So don't be seeing me in this light as angry black woman. I'm sure you have occasion when you become angry. Anger is something that is really difficult to contain. And if you are able to control that, then you are at this place where I aspire to be, but I'm not. I'm not because I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. So I'm going to display anger. I realize though, one of the greatest cures for my anger, feed me. Feed my skinny ass. Give me some food. I'm hungry. I'll eat you. And when I'm hungry, it's like my reasoning is out the window. There's no logic. I'm just angry. Give me food. And if you don't give me food, if I'm not given food, if I'm not eating, I'm open to being highly irritable, angry. They call it hangry. Wow. So this morning I had an episode with my mom, and she didn't understand why I just blew up at her. But I realized that the reason I blew up at my mom this morning was because of the exchange we had. Like, it showed me her very low opinion of me, that it seems like my mom already has in her mind, and she's had 2 brain surgeries. So she has in her mind that my sister, who is younger than me, is the star child. She's the golden child. So therefore, there must be the scapegoat, because there can only be one great one. You can't have 2 great people in the family. You can't have 4 great people, because my mom thinks she's great, my grandmother thinks she's great. So all these great women, it's like they need someone to put down, yes, and they literally put you down. They place you in a position that is so low that, and they cannot, any kind of opportunity for you to rise, they're there to squash it. Like, I've lived this for too long, and I'm not going to just keep sitting on this information. I'm going to share it. So just so many of you women, and not just black women, because I belong to these groups where women have major issues, and some men as well, men and women, and transgender having great issues with their mothers. And it's an outlet. It's a place where you can feel safe in disclosing, sharing, and you receive love, affection, attention, advice, or acknowledgement, or just someone listening to you. And it's good, because then you can see you're not the only one. Many of us have been through this shit where, like, my mother had me as very young, teen mom, like 17, which to me is too young to be having a child. But I don't know what was all around it. Was she raped? Was she fast? You know what I mean? Like, how did she get fucked to get pregnant? Because at her age, when guys approach me, I would say, fornication is a mortal sin. So I am a Catholic, practicing, and we don't do that. We don't have sex before marriage. I would say that. And you know what? It tended to work. Because guys were so shocked to hear this. Because girls don't go around talking like this, but I did. Because I believe that. Because I would see in school young girls knocked up, pregnant, then they disappear, they're gone, and then they show up again, they reappear months later, and boom, there's a baby. And everybody's gushing over these little babies, how cute they are, so cute, and how well dressed, who's the better dressed, and all the outfits, and oh my god. That, I don't know, that turned me off. That really turned me off, and I didn't want that for myself. But it's as though family had already decided who I was based on how I came into the world, who my father was. He was absent. Basically, who was my father? What's my father's name? Absent. I just named my father. I just renamed him right here and now. Absent. He was absent. He was largely absent. He was never present. I mean, I saw this man. I probably saw him, half a dozen times while I was on the island. And it was only because my grandmother had insisted, dragged me to the police station. Because he worked there, but he was not always there. Because he was a rolling boner, right? So, there have been these issues between me and my mother since I was a child. My mother didn't seem to like me. Because nobody talks about that. She never really seemed to like me. You feel that. There's supposed to be a bond between a mother and a daughter. This does not exist between us. Because she gave it all to my brothers and her other child, who all came after me. You see? The brother right after me looked like her. So he gets into the fold. You know? Delicate features, light skin, slender, tall. You know? Looks perfect. Right? Looks like her, spitting image. And then there is the other sister, the golden girl. The goose laying the golden eggs, right? So I'm the little black sheep. I'm the little black sheep. And you know, there's the golden children, and then there's me. It's gotta always be a scapegoat. So that's how I've lived my life. And then it was my grandmother who she did as a narcissist the best she could. She provided food, clothing, shelter, and that's it. So I taught myself everything I knew, how to read, how to write. You know, went to harvest fruit because there was such abundance. Hey, this is in season and that's in season, and you know how happy I was. I was happy, but I was isolated, alone. So I developed a habit of being a hermit and loving and embracing solitude. And so it became a time about approximately 6 years ago. I was looking for a place, and I ended up in my mother's house on the suggestion of my brother. He said, "Why don't you move into mom's house? She's got 5 bedrooms and she's there alone." I thought, wow, really? So I tried it, and what's happened is it was a time I had some real big issues with my mother because she had been very abusive to me in my childhood. Physically abusive, mental, you know, everything you can imagine. And so I had to get out of the house. I had to get out of her house because the stepfather was trying shit with me, you know. Like, stepfather should never try to sexually touch the child, the wife's child. That must never happen. But in these black families, it's happening too much. It's happening a lot. And it must fucking stop. So that was what I was going through, which further fucked up my life, my head, my schooling. After this started happening, because I was the one, I had such promise, you see, such potential. And then this shit starts happening to me soon after I came to Canada, a teenager, right? So, this really messed up my head. I had to leave the house. So I left the house. And while I was away, you know, many years away, I learned about forgiveness. Forgiveness. I believe it was someone named Louise Hay. I believe she's a YouTuber and has been for many moons before me. But Louise Hay has helped me a lot. I read her book, How to Heal Your Life, and it took me a long time to actually embrace and read the book. I had the book for 15 years before I could read it. This is how deep my scarring was. So I finally embraced. I opened the book, I read it, and wow, this is deep. And even the suggestions she had about when you wake up in the morning, look yourself in the mirror, look at yourself, and say, "I love you. I love you." Saying to yourself, your reflection, and meaning it. You mean it. You feel the love, and you give yourself to the mirror. And the first, I couldn't do this. It took me a long, long time to be able to look myself in the mirror and say, "I love you," and mean it. You know, it's something you have to practice these things. So when you are coming from a background where you've not been loved and shown love and felt love, when someone tries to teach you about love, and to start with you and love yourself first, because no one else is, well, what happens then is, you find it difficult. You find it hard to do. You have emotions running through you, anger being one of them, because wow, it's a trigger. Because you realize, shit, this should already be in me, and it's not. So here I had to start to learn. I believe I was in my 20s or 30s. And I had to learn to love myself. Because before that, I was doing things to myself that were very harmful. You know, substance abuse, meaning like I was drinking too much. Mind you, I can't drink very much. All it takes to get me drunk is like 2 drinks. So I learned not to drink as much. Because my siblings, my friends and acquaintances, they drank a lot. They smoked a lot. They did drugs. I didn't do those things. But I did drink. So when they could have 6 beers, I could only have 2. So I had to learn such things. Because they keep offering you, hey, have another drink, want another beer, want another drink, want another beer. You can't keep up with that. I couldn't keep up with that. And before I really learned that, I was getting sick a lot, you know, puking, hugging the porcelain bowl, and vowing never to drink again because it was so nasty to be on the floor in the bathroom in front of the toilet, puking your guts out, puking bile, and just wishing you were dead. And I can't imagine, you know, people, this is a lifestyle for them. They go to work Monday to Friday, and Friday, they can hardly wait. Thank God it's Friday. And then they go out drinking, and they drink themselves into stupor. And then all day Saturdays are right off. They just on the couch, watching TV. They did not shit on TV on Saturdays. But there you are, because you can't get the fuck up. You can't get out. You can't do anything. You're healing. You're recovering. You're detoxifying. You're toxic. And, you know, what do you do on Sunday? Who knows, right? Because you got to go back to work on Monday. This is what they've made your lives into. You know, no wonder there's depression. And guess what? They have pills for that. My mother is always misplacing things. My brother as well, my family, they misplace things. So I'm here basically, I think for now, to save lives, because they are both memory and judgment, memory impaired. My mom was sweeping this morning. She likes to do things like that because it's like keeps her fit, keeps her strong physically. She's in her head a lot. So she likes these kinds of manual tasks that awards her opportunity to be useful, as well as being able to do what she likes to do best, is to run away in her mind somewhere. She's always deep in thought, and sometimes you can see her standing just looking off, just staring into wherever. She just, her mind is gone, far away somewhere. And this is very different from me. I'm in my mind too, but I have more balance. I am a lot more grounded. Even it's nice to be in the garden on your feet to the ground, and you're in your thoughts, meditation. That's great. But this, to me, with certain people, it's a form of escape from reality. And when I say reality, I mean the shit we're living in this world, in this life, with the dictates of those who have decided that they are superior to those of us like me, for instance, I say, I no longer see myself as being marginalized, though, but in the past I did consider myself marginalized, which is why I chose to do what I do and how, in the manner that I do it, because all the other artists I knew had been educated at the institution. They like to talk about their university degrees and their, they speak of themselves first with credentials. Before anything else, they have all these titles and things from, and I was like, this pretension and this Eurocentric way is not serving us at all, because black people are, especially those educated ones, they are so far removed from us. They don't even know it, So the Frantz Fanon, I like to call them, and so I stayed with the people. The whole time I realized the people couldn't stand me. They hated me. They all hated me. Why? Because they resented me. They resented my existence, because I did come from a place of abundance, and I was always, for the most part, surrounded by abundance. And they lacked. They lived in lack. They were born in lack. They are about lack. And that's why they have dreams of being, what they're not. And those who are like them, they accept them just so much so that they can kind of feel a sense of belonging into a group that is, people from the hood. People from the hood hate me. They hate me. Ask them why, though. What is the real reason why I'm hated by black people? I talk about the very real things that they choose not to. They rather talk about celebrity lives. They know everything about celebrities. It's like lately I turn on, I'm on social media, scrolling through. What do I see? For the past freaking month, well, last month was February, now we're into March, and it has not ceased. Every day they have different stories, various stories of different people of the British royal family. Every freaking day. Whether Prince Charles, Prince Philip, William and Andrew and Edward, and then Meghan Markle, and then I read about it, and I don't read about it. I skim through comments, and all I'm seeing is vitriol. There is such a hatred for Meghan Markle. I never cared for the girl because I don't know the girl. I never knew. I didn't watch TV, so I didn't know what TV show she was on. I didn't know about anything about it. Suddenly, these people are talking about Meghan like they know her, like they've been socializing with her, like they've been out and about with her, like they know her life. How do these people have all these opinions about Meghan Markle and what a narcissist bitch and blah, blah, blah? For me to be able to label people, I have to have had experiences with them, exchanges with them. I cannot just see stories online and hear people. I know a lot of white women. So many white women hate Meghan Markle because Meghan Markle's mother is a black woman. They hate black women who take white dick and produce children. Those children are vilified. They're hated. They're not accepted by white people. That's why I guess black people call Meghan Markle black. I don't consider Meghan Markle black. And they hate Meghan Markle because she took the prince. How dare she take the prince? The handsome young prince. Listen, man, they don't age well. So yeah, he may be cute till he's 30. He's gonna go down here real fast. So whatever. But hey, they don't mind, right? Because he got money, or so they think. But they don't realize the money he has is from you, the people. You are the ones who prop that shit up. Talking about the forgiveness, right? So, I was having a really hard time in my 30s, in my late 20s, having a real hard time. And I read the book finally, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. I started to do the exercises in the mirror. I love you. I love you. And it took me a while, man. It took me so long. And when I finally got it, it was the best. It was the most uplifting and empowering. And I think you ought to try it. You just try. If you feel, you might think you love yourself because you buy yourself, Jordans. You buy yourself, diamonds. You buy yourself, Birkin bags and Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Fendi and whatever. You're buying European labels because you think you love yourself, but you don't. Do the exercise. And when I say, look in the mirror without your hair done, your nails did, your eyelashes, and your fake eyebrows, and your friggin' contoured in nose to look less African, and your cheekbones, which are not naturally occurring. And, that's what without beating your face. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, and mean it. Hey, some of you could do that, and that's wonderful. It's great, but I didn't, and I couldn't, because I was not taught to love myself. Okay? By the very people who created me. They couldn't show me love. They couldn't give me love in the way I needed most. And that goes for many of us who don't talk about it. We don't talk about it, but we should, we must. It's empowering. So at this age, I don't remember exactly, but I think maybe around the age of 27. No, that was later than that. In my 30s. So I decided one day, just out of the blue, I was just so despondent. I had been having like nightmares, man. I wasn't sleeping at night because I was afraid to go to sleep at night, because as soon as I fell asleep, there'd be nightmares. In my nightmares, I'm being chased. I'm always being chased, man. And I'm so scared, and I'm running. What? There was no rest for me. Until that one night, I decided I'm gonna face the motherfuckers who were chasing me. I thought it was one person. It turned out to be two. It turned out to be my mother and her husband. They had been in my dreams, chasing me at night. I couldn't sleep. And that's when I decided I'm gonna deal with it. When I woke up, I was so angry and tearful. I called my mother's house, where her husband was still alive. My brother answered the phone, and I said, so-and-so. I said, call your father. Call your father to the phone. And he brought the phone to his father. And his father, hello? I said, yes, hello, this is Adela. I just want to let you know that I have never forgotten the shit you did to me. And he said, hello? Excuse me? Hello? He started to act like I'm out of my goddamn fucking mind, and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, and he's not even going to acknowledge any of this. He's going to be in complete denial, and he's just going to be hello me to fucking death. Bitch is dead now, and he's been dead for over a decade. Maybe 2. He's been dead. Because you don't deserve to live to do such a thing on this earth. You marry a woman and you make sexual advances towards her child that you were supposed to adopt. So adoption implies you are father, stepfather, stepdaughter, father, daughter. Again, this incestuous shit, this pedophilic shit, no, it's wrong. I'm never gonna agree to that. Many of you are doing it when you have sex, you're role playing. There I'm gonna say, okay, it's role play, it's not real, and it's not. But you, to me, on some level, you still promote that. But maybe that's your way of, maybe it's therapeutic for you, and that's fine, as long as you're not actually going and touching children, right? So I'm not talking about y'all doing your role play. I'm talking about those people actively engaging in protecting those people who are perpetrators, and demonizing the so-called victims that I call survivors. I was being chased in a nightmare, and after having been chased for so many years, I decided I'm going to turn around and see what the fuck is that chasing me. I turned around, and suddenly I was shocked to see, by this point I had reached a mountain. I was on the top of a mountain, and right behind, as I turned around, was another mountain that I didn't know had been there. But the mountain was made of my mom, and then it morphed into my mother and her husband. And like Mount Rushmore, there were both their heads in this mountaintop. And I realized, wow, what the hell? What all that was ahead of me was the sky above, and below a ravine with perilous rocks, stones, jagged rocks. If you fall there, you would die. That's what That was my option from the top of the mountain where I was. And to get away from them, what did I do? I suddenly became a bird. I suddenly developed wings, maybe an angel. But here I am flying above this precipice that they seem to have wanted for me, that they were chasing me in nightmares. Every time I tried to sleep at night, they were chasing me and chasing me. So I would be driven to suicide, but I decided no, I'm not suicidal. I'm not here to die. I'm here to live. I have much work to do on this planet. I'm an important person, no matter how much my family tried to tell me that I'm not. By just refusing to acknowledge anything I did or give credit for anything I did except show delight in eating food I cooked. They always loved to eat my food, but they wouldn't even really say a thank you or this was great, this was good. No, they just, you could tell they cleaned the plate. Anyway, after that nightmare, I called him, and the way he acted, it really pissed me off, and I cursed him. I didn't know I had powers in my curse. I really didn't know it. But I felt that this guy is a son of a bitch, because he's really messed up my head and messed up my life by what he did to me when I first came to Canada as a young girl, teenager, and how the whole family supported him, protected him, and demonized me. So I had a life of just a horrific life, living on the margins of society, being completely fucking marginalized, while they lived in their fucking middle class comfort, in their make-believe fucking family fuckery. I chose not to be a part of that. So, anyway, I think they wanted me to die, so I don't talk about this stuff. And many people don't appreciate me talking, but that's what I'm here for. I am God-given, God-driven, God-made. And whatever you say, I don't care, because there are people worshiping what they call Satan, worshiping Saturn, worshiping red shoes, worshiping devils, demons, Moloch, they worshiping Lucifer, and this, that, and the other. And you know what? I'm going to worship God. It's a choice. We have choices in this world. They're trying to take away our choices, but I always choose God. God's always in my heart. God's been with me from the start. That's why I'm still here, and still strong, and still standing. God is with me. So, here's where I see those of you who don't know God and won't know God, you are online. What are you doing online? You're scamming. You're scamming people. You know the worst part is when you're black and you're scamming other black people. There is no greater, to me, sign of self-loathing. You hate yourself so much and you're hating the rest of us. And you think, oh, this bitch got more than I do. You know, many of you black guys, African Americans, but not just African Americans, many of you black males in general who so hate women, especially, oh, she's a sex worker, this bitch. You're gonna take her money. You set your sights on her money. You don't even think of, hey, how would we work together? We do a company, you set up a company, we work together. No, they want to see the bitch work her ass off. And then they spend her money. They steal her money. They take her money. Like, these women are giving birth to these guys who are such midgets, mental midgets. And they don't have any sense of abundance. They don't have a spirit of abundance. They dwell in this limbo of lack. That's where they swim around in the muck of lack. And then you're going to always look like fruit to them to grab, snatch, and run away. We need more than that. We need more than thieves and scammers. And so, anyway, I'm going to go back to when I was that age in the 30s, when I just, epiphany. I just had this, and an urge to go to the shower, go to take the shower. I went to the shower. I stayed in the shower for like about 5 or 6 hours. And during this time, I was forgiving. I was forgiving my mother, forgiving my father, my stepfather. I forgave them both. And what I was taught was to see them as children, see them as like little boy and girl, 2-3 years old. How about, little 3-year-old boy, look at the 3-year-old little girl, and you hug her, you hug him, you embrace them, you embrace the babies, you embrace the little children, and you love them. You show them love, you give them love. You say the name of the child, and you put your arms around them very gently, and you say, I love you. So my mother, I said to my mother, a little version of her, I love you. I love you. I forgive you. Same to the stepfather. Hey, you asshole. I love you. No, of course, I didn't say that. I said his name. Ew, what an ugly name he has. He was an ugly person because nobody taught him love or showed him love. So he didn't know about love. That's why he could come and try to defile me, try to put his filthy hands on my body. I told him I loved him. He was a little boy, and stuff had been done to him as well. Little girl, my mother, stuff had been done to her as well. Because many of us are touched by adults as children. We are victims eyed by pedophiles. Yeah, the perpetrators, the pedos are the perpetrators. We are the survivors. Those of us who are still here to talk about it and to deal with it, to address it at the very least. And so many of you are so complicit, so quiet, so silent. But yeah, I forgave them. It took me 5-6 hours in the shower. Long shower. I became like a raisin. But I did it. And I'll tell you something. It was such a great relief to do. It was a wonderful thing to do. Because after that, I ceased to have the anger and rage in my belly as I used to. Because I would be so angry that I would feel as though my stomach was being eaten on the inside by acid. I believe I could have been cancerous or on my way to being cancerous or having some kind of illness due to that anger in my belly that would be so easy to rile up. Because I didn't know also that people were at the time deliberately pushing my buttons. They liked to see me get angry because they were amused, because they did not like me because I was expressive. And though they pretended to be my friends, they resented me and envied me as well. They were jealous. I've had to deal with much jealousy because I choose to do what I do, and others would like to, but they choose not to. And so when I do it, they think, well, who the hell are you? You didn't go to university. You didn't go to school, and now you're here, blah, blah, blah. So they try to shut me down, but not just them. The so-called in quotes powers that be not. Right? Because if they were so powerful, they would not be so fearful of me. Little me. I weigh no more than 130 pounds. Soaking wet. Anyway. Yes. It's important. It's important to forgive. So the little boy who was pursuing me is a narcissist. And that explains why he conducted himself in the manner that he chose to. But I'd already been well versed in narcissism because I was raised by a narcissist. I don't believe she displayed that as much when she was younger, but she certainly became worse as she aged. And then also she had got dementia tapped onto that, which didn't help matters. So, then I had another family member who's classic nar, and then for this guy to come along and do what he did to me. And so I had to say to him, yes, I forgive you, Angel. Just 10. I forgive you. F. Rank. I forgive you. In fact, I forgive you ages ago. You are feeling the way you're feeling now because you are very, very aware that I am very intuitive, and I know all about you without you telling me anything, which is why you don't have to tell me anything. You've been keeping very many secrets, but everything you've hidden, I already know. Okay? So I forgive you because I understand what you've been through, but I'm not going to allow you any further access to me to continue to hurt me. Okay? I have learned to not engage those who are out there choosing to live as devils. When I tell you to release yourself from the bondage of demonic energy, you find love within you. It is there. It is there. I call it God. I call it God for lack of a better word. And they are so, they laugh because, God spelled backward is dog, but then they claim that dog is man's best friend. Like, you see how much they are into tricks, being tricksters. And this is the energy I don't really relate to. People who want to be scamming and tricking and whatever else they want to do. I cannot be a part of it. Wow, very thirsty. Anyway, yes, so it was about forgiveness. And in this world, we have so many people just hell-bent on being as bad as they can be, as nasty as they want to be, and being enabled to do so by those people who want to be like them. Many of the people who are narcissists, they were abused heavily, really badly abused in childhood. And what they've done is they've taken the side and the manner or the persona of the abuser and have such disdain for those who were victimized. So they further victimizing people who had already been victimized and standing in solidarity with the abuser, with the perpetrator. That's twisted. That's devilish. And they see us, they see our light, because they are so deep in the darkness of the evil, the bowels of evil. They see my light shining bright. I draw them in. They come to me. They keep coming to me. So I'm here. I know all I can do is try to teach them about loving. And all I do is give them love. And no matter how much shit they try to do to me, I still continue to love them, and I forgive them, and I have forgiven them. But for whatever reason, they are staying deep in that place, those who choose to dwell in that muck and continue to try to take advantage of others, because that's all they've ever known what and how to operate, because they were not shown love or anything else that would make them, help them elevate in life. They're still mucking about with little lowlives, swimming around in gutters, and I can't. That's not my place. My place is exalted. It's high. I've always been raised high. Even when I'm a little girl, with pedophiles trying to lure me, pedophiles showing me the penis, I was never into that. I didn't think it was okay for an old man to touch me. I felt that way as a child, and I still feel the same way now. And you're trying to make this, I see the ways they're pushing this on us. They're pushing a lot of, as much as they're pushing the interracial, they're pushing intergenerational, they're pushing all sorts of things that should not be happening. So we must not just accept these things. At the very least, we can talk about and against this stuff, because it was not okay what happened to me, and I don't believe it's okay what happened to other children just because they're poor. Children are poor, and this is why their parents are allowing them to be preyed upon by pedophiles, because hey, he gave us $40 for groceries. This must not be. We have abundance in this world, abundance. We are brought here, we are here, we find ourselves here as babies, and surrounding us, it's food. And if there's no food surrounding us, it's because we've been robbed. And if we've been robbed, it's because it's demonic activity, it's the devil at work, because God's given us this planet and everything in it. And what have they done? They've poisoned everything, and you all are still worshiping them. You're still worshiping them. And when I say God, I don't mean Jesus. I don't mean white Jesus when I say God, okay? God is in me. White Jesus is not. But hey, I believe if you go further into the scriptures, you'll find the story of Jesus was extracted straight out of African spirituality. Then go there if you want to find another God. That's fine. But this Jesus from Rome, no. The Vatican, no. I've been there. I was baptized as a Catholic. Had my first Holy Communion as a Catholic. And when I ask questions about why are you worshipping these idols, graven images, we are told in the Bible not to. And yet the church continues to have these things, these statues sent from Rome, where they are artisans. They keep making this mass production, though, like factory work, and they have these things for sale. And all these black people and other Catholics from all around the world go to the Vatican and buy this stuff. It's a tourist trap. Okay, so please forgive all the sins of those who have done bad things to you. You must forgive them, for they know not what they do. I am Domina Della Pi, Mistress Sasha Storm. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe.